Hello, welcome to McBoss Capital channel. My name is Michael Chu. Today we are going to talk about the general market for the week ending January 16, 2026. This is the second full week of trading for the year, and market was moving up higher this week, but then kind of fall back to the low range this week, but it's still a very tight range. So overall, it was down just very slightly for the week, 0.6% on Nasdaq. Here you can see that we are still trading within this kind of pendant shape formation range, trading more and more tighter. It is above all the moving averages. On the daily chart, we can see better right here. We did come across it like the channel line here just a tiny bit, but again very quickly it came back down and to the bottom range here, and then this again we try to get as soon as we get close to the upper channel line, we kind of come back down again on Friday. It's just down a little bit. On Friday we did gap up in the morning, but it very quickly dissipate, and then towards the end of the day it was just kind of trading in this really narrow range here. So S&P 500, on the weekly chart, we saw the prior week, the first full week of 2026, we did really well. We climbed up to a new high. Again, this week we came back 0.3%, not much, but still like it's just hovering near the highs right now. On the daily chart, let's draw an upper channel line here. So we did come above it, and then on the bottom channel line, we came back down on Wednesday to it, but then we reversed by the end of day. Thursday we get move up again, and then Friday we just kind of give back a little bit, very slightly, 0.06%. Here's Friday's chart, gap up, and then it give back the gains. Then it bounced, and then throughout the rest of the day, it just stay in a neutral zone area there. For Dow Jones, you can see the week prior, we make a very solid new high, very strong uptrend right there. Then this week, we started the week kind of weak, we gave back some, and then by the end of the week, we closed at the upper range again. So very strong index. Industrials are definitely the largest group of stocks right now that are in uptrend, and we'll talk about that in my second video, so please stay tuned and follow that. On the daily chart, again we continue to make new highs here. Wednesday we again found support right there near the 10-day, and then Thursday, Friday we just trade near that zone, and we are very close to new highs once again. So this looks like a very healthy digestion so far. Here's Russell, very strong uptrend. You can see the prior week we make new high, and this week we follow once again with new high. So the small caps are doing really well by this measure. Here's the daily chart. Look at this uptrend. This 10-day slope is very strong. It's above 45-degree angle, and yeah, so small caps are leading the way right now in general. On the equal weight Nasdaq 100, we're seeing the downtrend here forming. Very strong resistance level at this channel, at this line here. Friday we kind of closed weak, and I don't know if it's the lowest close recently, but it is not looking good. RSP, however, the equal weight S&P 500 is definitely showing broader strength because it is making new high very strongly, right? And Friday it did give back some, but again overall it looks pretty healthy right now. So here's the innovative IBD 50. We're starting to form this cup-shaped base, and we did close at the top range here on this week, so that's healthy, right? It's up 1.5%. Not very strong, but at least it closed positive and make a new recent high. It's forming the right side of the base, so again it looks healthy. So definitely growth stocks in general, based on the top 50, are still moving. On Monday the stock market will be closed for Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday. We do have Thursday first revision of third quarter GDP, and Friday we have the PCE price index released here, the Federal Reserve's favorite inflation indicator. We also have earnings report from Netflix, Johnson & Johnson, chip leader Intel, Aerospace, GE Aerospace, and also IBKR, Interactive Brokers. Here's the NYSE advanced decline daily line here at the bottom. It's looking pretty healthy, at least on the S&P, related to S&P NYSE here. It's moving up to new highs, and Friday give back a little bit. For the Nasdaq advanced decline line, we've also been moving up recently, not as nice as the S&P line or NYSE line, but it's okay. It looks more like the index, just kind of going sideways right now at this moment. Here's the 10-year Treasury yield. It did climb back above 4.2%, near the 4.23, so something to watch out for. If it continues to climb, it could become a new concern. Here's the US dollar ETF. It's been climbing pretty solid lately. Very interesting. And then the oil here, looks like it tried to come out on Tuesday. Wednesday, it did reverse though and come back down. And then now, Friday, it bounced back again. So it did close at the bottom range. So, but yeah, we're seeing a very interesting move right now. So whether this can sustain itself, obviously there's the Iran related news as well. So we'll watch for that. So for the week, gold here, gold price, it's up 1.6% based on this ETF. It did gap up this early on the week, and then it kind of just went sideways throughout the week after. So here's the daily chart. On Friday, we came back down, but we did find support and closed near the 55% range. So yeah, a little bit above the middle level. And silver makes also a very strong move this week, making new highs here from last week's closing price. You can see here we did pull back this day on Friday, but look at both days, it didn't really want to close at the bottom of the range. So looks very healthy still. Copper fell back pretty hard after going up to new high Thursday, Friday. It dropped quite significantly here. Here's WENAC uranium ETF here. NLR is starting to move back up again, looking very good. Bitcoin also tried to make a move this week. Looks like it's coming back up above the previous resistance level, and it came back above the red line as well, which is 50-day moving average. But Thursday, Friday pulled back slightly, but Friday end up closing in the positive, so that's good. Finding support near that short-term moving average there. So for IBD signal, they're still recommending 80 to 100% allocation. In the week we saw Dow and S&P hitting records on Monday here, and the accumulation are still pretty strong. You can see we have 400 versus 257 stocks on Friday, and on the industry group side also very healthy. We're seeing 80 groups versus around 40 groups being more accumulated. And on the sector side, technology is still underwhelming here as a net number, net positive minus negative here. Retail is okay, and industrial, you can see the most number of stocks being accumulated at this moment. Health is a little bit weak. Commodities doing pretty well, probably some energy as well. And then financials are also okay, right? Not the strongest, but also not too weak at all. So this is the XME metal mining group ETF here, looking pretty strong. I mean, this is a very nice chart, cup with handle pattern here, and then we break out and look at that very nice move uptrend right now. The other group that also doing well here is the XLI industrial ETF here. Also, after this breakout here, it's been it has a 1-day pullback here, but after that it was pretty strong, so that also looks pretty good. We're gonna move into the large cap techs here. SMH went at semiconductor up 2.8% for the week, making new highs once again. So this chart is continue to show strength. Here's the daily chart. Again, we're seeing nice support level at the 10-day, and then we bounce off on Thursday and making new high both Thursday and Friday. One stock that also reported this week is Taiwan Semiconductor. This stock recently building this nice long base here, and then we came out right there. From there, we kind of pulled back very slightly to the green line, which is 10-day moving average, and you can see that slope right there. Then we pull back once more here, and again, with the earnings coming out, it just went up on Thursday and Friday. It was able to continue to hold the lows. from Thursday. So far it looks really good. Here's Nvidia chart, not doing much. I mean, you can see I've tried this stock many times recently. It's just not doing much. Every time it just kind of come back down. It's just stuck at this red line right here. It's just stuck around this level. AMD here also trying to come out this week. It did reverse back on Thursday. Friday it was able to bounce back slightly, so that looks healthy. Here's Broadcom. Broadcom is still under the red line, 50-day moving average. It's just not moving too much right now. Now, for this week, the surprising part was the IGV, the software group. They got hammered, down 6%, making a new low. So this is the reason why probably techs are not doing as well, right? This is not looking good. This is really a big concern now. This downtrend line is continue, but not only that, it just came straight back down and make a new low. So I would, be more cautious about some of this, software related groups going forward. And one of the stocks that are part of this group is Microsoft. Look at this. Look at how it undercut the recent low. But not only that, it just couldn't even find any bounce. And then we have this downtrend line at the red line there, 50-day moving average coming down hard. Like, this is definitely looking like a top that has formed, and now we're breaking the major moving average, which is the black line here. So this is not looking good. Of course, with earnings season coming out, anything can change. But but why is the stock acting like this right before the announcement on earnings in 11 days from here? That is probably the bigger question. So this has been very weak for a while now, and not only that, like, you can see here clearly it came down, it went sideways after that, like almost like an L-shaped pattern. Then it make new low. Look at the bounce. There's barely any bounce after that drop, and that's the concerning part. Google, here's Google chart, daily chart. It did pretty well recently. It breaks out, but then we start to pull back right here. 3 days in a row now. Volume start to come in on Friday as well. But consider, where that index for the software group we saw, and also what happened to Microsoft. This is actually, surprisingly acting, relatively stronger, right? So that's something to consider. Here's Amazon. Amazon also was climbing back up, but again, I don't know if there's any news, but it just fell really hard on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then again, the Thursday, Friday bounce is just very mediocre. There's not much of a bounce, which is not a good sign. Then we have Meta. Meta is still on a longer term downtrend. You can draw a channel line here. Again, it just came down pretty fast once again. Not much of a bounce on Thursday and Friday. Again, those are very poor relative strength. Here's Palantir. Recently Palantir just, again, it failed this breakout from this cup base here, cup with handle base. It tried to come out, but it fell, came back down really hard. And then we bounced back to the short-term moving average, but look at it. It just doesn't want to go above it. And then Friday, it gave up just like the general software group did. So again, very concerning. Why is this happening before earnings season? Is this precursor to something much worse coming up? So we gotta be more cautious about this. Let's move on to Apple. Here's Apple starting to break down recently. This is looks like the second leg down from the top. Not a good sign as well. No power whatsoever. Didn't even try to touch the green line. This is like exactly opposite of an uptrend. This is a very bad downtrend right now forming. Again, we are near the lows of recent low again. Not a good sign. Tesla, we saw this nice trend right here recently, but it just didn't go anywhere since that time. We are still under this downtrend line right here near the 10-day. Again, why are these stocks not participating in the current rally, right? Like, again, the tech we know is more weaker, and then there's some chips that are doing okay, but some of these mega caps are just not behaving very well at this moment. And then we have Netflix continue to be sold. Lots of downgrades and stuff. I mean, this trend line is just very severe. This downtrend line, it hasn't even come close to trying to cross that line. the 21 day, and then the 10 day here. Every time it touches it, it just reverses. So I mean, until that changes, it's best to wait until this is clear. Thank you all for watching. I hope you like and subscribe to this channel. I will be coming up with the growth stock list that I usually follow, and we'll see some of the stronger stocks there. Thank you all for watching.